Hey, in this video, I'm going to be talking about why I'm not Mormon. Now, there are two main reasons, and we'll go over them. First reason is in Galatians 1, 8-9, the Apostle Paul writes, "And if any man comes unto you and preaches a gospel different from the one we have preached to you today, let him be eternally accursed." And he repeats that in verse 9. So it's a very important thing. That's not to say Joseph Smith, came along and created a new gospel. Well, it is saying that. He created a new gospel because it had nothing to do with the gospel in the Bible. Came along, had a whole new book, said this is actually what happened. Jesus had 3 wives. He was married to Mary Magdalene. No, you could say that, right? I mean, that doesn't disclude all of Christian teaching. You can believe Jesus had 3 wives and still go to heaven, and still, believe Jesus was the Messiah. But the thing is, when you add all this stuff about how salvation works, then it becomes a new religion, and you're a heretic, right? So Joseph Smith invented all this new stuff, involving the gospel and what happened with Jesus, and what happens for salvation and whatnot. You gotta wear this type of underwear and refrain from doing all this worldly stuff, when in reality, a person can drink coffee and go to heaven. We shouldn't rely on legalism. The New Testament very clearly teaches virtue ethics, which is that, there's no specific laws listed out for how to do everything like in Islam or whatever. No, it's, you follow by example of what Jesus and the apostles did and taught. But that's my first reason. And second is that God, he preserves his own church, right? So God preserves his own church, right? We can agree on that, because Jesus, when he was talking to Peter, he said, "Your name is now Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it." Now, when he says my church, he's not talking about the Catholic Church. He's talking about the church, as in the people of the church. Anyone who's a Christian, anyone who's a part of the kingdom and is saved, they're of the church. And it's clear that God preserves his own church because the Protestant Reformation happened. Martin Luther, he went out, he attempted to, reform the Catholic Church when the Catholic Church's teachings became unbiblical. He attempted to preserve the church. Who knows if it was the inspiration of God? It most likely was, because God preserves his own church. And when the Catholic Church refused to reform itself and revert back to its biblical teaching, then, Protestantism there's a schism between Protestantism. So God, he preserves his own church to have biblical teaching. Now, the Mormon Church, why would God hold back giving us his true church for 1,800 years? It makes no sense. So these are the reasons I'm not a Mormon. If any Mormons would like to discuss this in the comments or try to rebuttal my arguments, that's cool. Do so. But hope you like the video. Bye.